Hello everyone, this is Scott, Franchiseinsight.net. Hope you're having a great start to your day. I'm going to jump back to a post from last week. I usually try not to recycle information this quickly. A lot of times a post builds on a post or new information comes up and I expand on something I've talked about in the past. But a post from last week just has kind of stuck with me. And I want to bring it up again because I think it's incredibly impactful as you make a decision to buy a franchise or a small business, especially a franchise that is an early concept, okay? So back to the stat, it was that 7 out of 10 franchises do not sell one unit, one location within the first 2 years. So as a franchise or a business starts, they are likely in a town and they get going, and then the owner says, hey, this is a great idea. I'm going to unleash it on everybody. So they go out, they get lawyers, they get consultants, they put together a legal agreements around this sales package that they're, the business. Then they get consultants to help them come up with how am I going to market and how am I going to sell this, how am I going to get people attracted to this concept. So from the time that happens, which is when I would say the clock starts ticking, so they've got their business, it's running, it's great, and it's called Joe's Biscuit Barn, and I'm sorry, Joe, if you got a biscuit barn, the first thing that came to mind. If that's the franchise you're buying, they're going to leave that as one business entity, and then they're going to set up a new corporation around this big franchise monopoly or whatever. It's getting unleashed on everyone. So I'll call that day one. So the stat that was impressive, there's two of them, but the one that was, I shouldn't say impressive. I guess it was impressive. It was impressive in a way I wish I'd known earlier, or may not have gotten involved in a franchise. The stat that was impactful is a better way of saying that. The stat that was impactful is that 7 out of 10 franchises do not sell a single unit, a single location, however it's structured, within the first 2 years. So that's 70% that kind of sit there and muddle around and figure out what they're really doing. And I get it because, it's hard to find early adopters to plunk down $50,000, $500,000 to get involved in a concept where there's maybe only 1 or 2 locations, if that. But certainly, you're making a big investment. You like to talk to people, and it's not an option when you look at these early concepts. So a stat to remember, a stat to keep in mind, 7 out of 10 don't even sell a location within the first 2 years. So if you're talking to a franchisor and a consultant and they're talking about all these people that are lathered up and ready to buy, well, they may think they're, the pipeline's full and about to bust, but the stats don't show that to be the case. So stat 1. Stat 2 is that 7 out of 10, again, 70%, do not sell more than 10 units, 10 locations within year 1 to 10. So that after 10 years, you kind of are what you are. I mean, you're probably never going to be any more than Joe's Biscuit Barn in a region of whatever state, or maybe they kind of spider webbed out into 2 or 3 states. But it probably is what it is. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not knocking that, but it's something to be aware of as you have grand plans of getting involved in a new concept that you're going to open up 5 locations, and then you've talked to the franchisor, and they got 5, 8, 10 other people that are about to open up, and all of them have grand plans to open up. The stats, the numbers don't show that kind of scaling. So keep that in mind as you look at something new. Ask these questions as you talk to consultants. I would ask, and not that there's a bad answer here, but I would ask: have you been involved in failures? What happened? How many, what's the path? I mean, it's your money. Interview them like you get interviewed, okay? Think about sitting through interviews that you've gone through. If you have, maybe you're a business owner and you've never had to go through an interview, but assuming you've had to go through an interview, think about how you feel sitting there. When somebody's asking you, what's your greatest strength? Hey, cut through that crap and go right to, how many failures were you involved in? How many projects, opportunities have you been involved in that grew beyond 10? If they haven't, I'm not saying don't get involved with them as a person to work with. That's not the point. But you should know. It's your money. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a great day. I'll be back with non-recycled content this week. We'll come up with something new. And again, thanks for hanging out.